Petaluma's home. It doesn't have any more meaning than that. I wanted to live somewhere near San Francisco that I could afford, and it would be a good place to raise the kids. I was working at Tech TV at the time. Actually, it was even before Tech TV. At the time, to be in media, you had to be near a big city. New York, LA, San Francisco, maybe. So this was the most congenial area that I could live that would be at least near a big city where I could work, both in radio and television. But what's kind of cool is, as I've done my own thing, I've stopped going to San Francisco. I commuted to San Francisco for 13 years. It's an hour each way on a good day, more often 3 or 4 hours in the car every day. Now I'm a mile away from our studios here in a small town of 50,000 people in a beautiful part of the country. It's the kind of place that you would choose to live. But what's neat is now I can do stuff that I thought I could only do in big cities. I can do my kind of media in a tiny little town thanks to the internet, and it's really great. We still get people dropping by we had visitors from Oregon and North Carolina just popped in today. So yeah, we're off the beaten path, but apparently people have found a way to our door. I like intimate media. I want to break that fourth wall. I don't really want to be in a situation where I'm isolated and glassed in. So this suits me really well. And we have kind of an open door policy. Anybody can wander in, and they do. And I think that's important. I think really the kind of stuff that we're doing in new media, that's one of the things that distinguishes it. There are a number of characteristics you'd use, a number of words you'd use to describe new media. Authentic, honest, but approachable and accessible is one. I don't want to be a distant movie star. I'm not building an audience, I'm building a community. That's a big difference. Instead of a monologue, the kind of thing a news anchor would talk, and you shut up and listen, we're trying to have a conversation. We want our audience to stand up and be heard. So it's really important to break that fourth wall and to really say this is a community of people. Now, admittedly, I'm the one with the cameras and the microphone, and I'm not doing a very good job of this yet. The technology is a little bit behind what I want to do, but increasingly I would like to find ways to let everybody participate in the show. That's why we do the chat room. That's why we have an open door. But even more, I'd like to have people participate in it. It's got to be about community, or it's about nothing. All the computer TV shows I've seen on the air up to now have been edited shows where they never show a blue screen of death. They never show you how long it really took to install that program or run that program. They never show you the flops. And what it does is it creates in the viewer this misapprehension about how easy stuff is to use and how reliable it is, which it's not. And everybody knows that. And so it's not very authentic. Either you kind of feel bad about yourself, why do I have all these problems? Or you feel like this is a dishonest program. So when we started the screensavers, when we started Tech TV, one of the things I said is, I want to be live. I don't want to edit out the gaffes. I don't want to edit out the blue screens. When the program crashes, I want you to see it because it's the actual experience. And people want you to be, honest. They want authenticity. They want integrity. So now that we're in new media, we have much more opportunities for things to fail because instead of using reliable, tried and true broadcast equipment, we're using consumer off-the-shelf stuff. It crashes all the time. It fails all the time. I kind of feel bad because some of the technologies we use, which are wonderful technologies, kind of might get a bad rap because people watching, see our TriCaster crash or see our LED lights fail or, and might think, well, gosh, I can't use that. But no, that's real. That's how it is in real life. Even in a television station, equipment fails all the time. What you don't realize is there's a vast crew of people behind the scenes who are scrambling to make sure that the reserve equipment is put online, so you don't see the flops as often in broadcast, but that's because they spend a lot more money and they have a lot more people. Here you see it, and I think in the long run that's really better. Let's be honest with each other. Let's not put on a false face about how reliable this stuff is or how easy it is to use or how polished and able I am. Let's just be real. Can we just be real? And I think that's much better in the long run. On the one hand, we don't want big companies to shape the internet for their business interests. We don't want to let AT&T say to its customers, well, we're going to give you access to the internet, except for Skype, because we want to have a phone business. Or Comcast to say, well, we're going to give you access to the internet, but we might slow down bandwidth a little bit on BitTorrent because we want you to watch HBO on our system. The internet was designed to be completely agnostic about the content, just to transmit bits, and all bits are equal, and it's neutral. That's where the word net neutrality comes from. It's neutral about whatever's going on the internet. It's thanks to that we have a free and open internet, that all this innovation is occurring. The stuff that I'm doing is available to everybody around the world over the internet. No company is saying, well, Leo's undermining our television business. We better make sure that he doesn't look as good. For now, these big companies are making a lot of noise. AT&T is saying, well, we think Google's free riding on our business and we want to charge extra for Google access. What? Now, we don't want to let that happen. On the other hand, I'm not convinced that I want the government to start telling us how to run the internet either. I don't trust them completely. Now, I trust the current administration, and I think people like Julian Janikowski, who is Julius is the chairman of the FCC, understands the issues, understands net neutrality, and is really doing good work to make sure that the internet stays open and free. But there's no guarantee. I mean, he's not going to be FCC chairman forever. Another guy's going to come in, and another guy, and another guy. And I think it's a slippery slope when you start making rules that say, well, we can tell you how to run the internet. So, but we have this very difficult conflict. It would all be fine if there were true competition. If you could say, well, I have 5 internet service providers to choose from, and I'm going to choose the one that gives me the open internet. But unfortunately, very few people have that choice. Pretty much it's the incumbent phone company or the incumbent cable company, and that's it. And if both the phone company and the cable company agree and collude to make sure that the internet's not free and open, you're not going to have a free and open internet. So it's not the ideal choice, but I think it's the choice we have to make. We have to support the FCC in making those rules to keep the internet free and open. We have to watch them like a hawk to make sure they keep doing that. And we have to write our members of Congress, at least in the U.S., and if you're outside the U.S., whoever your legislatures are, or assembly, or whatever, make sure that they know that we care, that a free and open internet is not only important to us, but it's important to the future of any nation. You're not going to have innovation, you're not going to be competitive, you're not going to succeed economically if you don't have widespread, equal access to all that the internet has to offer. It's going to hurt China that they filter the internet in the long run. It's going to hurt any country like Korea that goes for these appalling trade treaties that do things like prevent you from having hard drives in the sky. South Korea agreed to the ACTA treaty, which, among other things, says, we don't like these, SkyDrive and Dropbox because pirates use it. Well, that's going to hold a country back to say yes to that kind of stuff. And we got to make sure our legislatures know that we care about this. This is important to us. And even though the telecoms are giving you a lot of money for your campaign, we're the voters. That money's not going to be any good to you if we say to you, we're not going to vote for you because of your stance on net neutrality. So we got to fight for this one. It's very, very important. And I think we have to support the FCC in making those rules to protect our internet. It's very important. Government is the people in this country. It is us as a society agreeing to certain rules of conduct. That's what law is all about. And I think if people stand up for something, if they care about something, then we get it. The problem is things like net neutrality, things like the ACTA treaty are kind of complicated. Average people perhaps don't even know that these are issues. They don't really understand these issues. So it really behooves us as geeks, even though we're in a minority, to stand up and be counted, to say this is something we understand and we care about, and to tell our friends and our neighbors, you ought to care about this because you may not know it, but a free and open internet is not automatic. It's not protected. It's not a right. It's something that we have now that we could easily lose. And I think when people understand that there's a real threat, then they stand up and be counted. And then the people do win. I mean, we just look, we get what we as an electorate say we want. We've got to make sure that we say we want these things.